What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Neat the Podcast. I am the Glorious Geek Samurai Kiku. And along with me, as always, is our delicious The Demon Sour Cream, Raish, Josh Alfini. You're delicious, dude.
I'm not comfortable with you telling me that I'm delicious. There's one person on this earth I'm okay with saying that to me.
You are on the menu at O'Charlie's. I've seen it. Unfortunately, our fanatic with the schematic could not make it with us tonight. He's off saving the galaxy, or something like that. I'm just going to make it sound better than it is. But, Of course, we do have our luscious lady locks of Lady Argonians, Nick Bernstein, with us. Oh, wait, it's Lieli still, isn't it?
Yeah, either one, but that's fine. I love the whole luscious Argonian.
Lady
that's great.
locks
Let's keep that.
Of Lady Argonians, you like that? Okay, well,
Yeah.
we'll do that. And, of course, this is episode 43. We actually have a monk visiting us. No, not from a monastery. No, not from a temple or a synagogue or a church. Not even from some underground cult, although we did ask someone to come on the show, but they wanted us to drink punch with them, and we weren't
Is it Tony
cool with
Shalhoub?
that. It is not Tony Shalhoub, although we'll contact him, too. We have Amy Monk with us. Amy! How are you?
I am doing amazing today.
Good, good.
You look amazing today.
Well, everybody is, I think. For those of you who don't know, Amy is a young artist from here in Pensacola, Florida. She's had some of her work recognized and celebrated, actually, by some pretty big names in the nerd and television community. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
All right.
What?
Go ahead. Go ahead. Say what you're going to say. We are a freewheeling show.
I have had my work in Art and Inspiration magazine. I've even had friends who work in Adult Swim, and even a guy that Doug Snide, who is an illustrator for Playboy for 50 years, has some of my artwork and are some friends of mine. And so I've been traveling Comic Cons and selling my work.
All right, well, you do know that you are going to be our topic of the week, so we're going to delve deep into the mind of Amy Monk. Are you ready for that?
That's scary.
It should be, because I had let Nick run around in my mind once, and it wasn't as much running as ambling, and he was out of breath after 15 minutes, so all I heard was panting for the whole day going on in my brain pan. So, Amy, you're into all the nerd stuff, you're into all the geek stuff. You ready to talk some nerd news?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
All right, well, DC Comics, which I know is one of your favorites, unleashed its television event, Dawn of the Justice League, upon the world, and it was a doozy. I love that word. The show highlights involved a brand new DC Super Smash Bros. Trailer, Suicide Squad, a featurette on Wonder Woman, and some conceptual art of the upcoming slate of Justice League characters. It has finally been confirmed, along with that we will have a Green Lantern Corps film and not a standalone film. So I am sure that it is setting up a Green Lantern Fast and the Furious universe, and we will get Oa Drift. It's going to happen, boys.
My dream come true. Oa Drift happening.
Oa
Amy,
Drift.
One of the cool things about you is you like to cosplay as Harley Quinn, correct?
Yes.
So did you see the new Suicide Squad trailer?
Of course, only about like 100 times.
What did you think of it?
Oh my god. Okay, the new one. Well, the other one was a Comic-Con trailer, so it doesn't really count. The music was amazing. I am starting to really love Harley's outfit, and Jared Leto's growing on me, even though he has tattoos. I mean, he's like, I'm obsessing now, and I'm really starting to like it. I think it's gonna be pretty promising.
Yeah.
Okay, did you? I know that we, as the host, have had some issue with the Suicide Squad. I'll actually admit, it looks like it's a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of dumb fun. I don't think it's going to really focus on the squad as much as it's going to focus on 4 characters. And that was really prevalent from the trailer, that we're really going to see a lot of Deadshot. We're going to see probably a lot of Batman, more than the trailer led on to believe. And then Joker and Harley Quinn are going to round out like the main focus of the movie, which is sad because some of the other characters do look semi-promising now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've kind of looked. I have seen kind of like the breakdowns and stuff, and a lot of people say that it's like one of my favorite things. That but with Suicide Squad in the comics, Joker and Harley aren't even together, and there's a lot of things that's kind of panning out from, and so it'll be interesting on how accurate it really is to the comic. But I mean, it's already kind of showing that they're doing their own thing, kind of
And you're,
know,
and I know you said something about the outfit. This is actually a conversation I just had with a fellow writer of mine, that they chose of all outfits to use her roller derby outfit. You as a growing woman, obviously, how do you feel that they chose to use one of her more scantily clad outfits as opposed to maybe something more armored or more fully clothed?
I honestly do think that I don't really like that it's kind of skanky. I mean, I think that it would have been better if it was like more, even classic, or because Harley Quinn is such a deep character, and she had there's a lot more to her than just being like a sex toy or something. Like
Sure.
she's a very deep and very fascinating character to me, and they may like completely turn it around to where it's like, oh, she has a lot of potential. She's, this, like even in the trailer, it showed some of the backstory to where she was even in a previous relationship when she was working at the asylum and all those kind of things. And when you go crazy, those kind of things don't really matter. She's not really worried about modesty when you kind of go crazy like that. So I don't know. We'll see how really the character development is what I'm really looking forward to, is to see really how they develop the character more than I am worried about the outfit, I guess.
Okay. Nick, I know you saw the trailer.
I did.
You had some choice words for it, did you not?
I did. Man, I like DC, and I think their cast of characters is like so colorful, and they can do so much with it. But I don't know why it's just not completely selling me yet. I think, like you said, they're setting it up to be kind of a, here's us four, no more, and then it's throwaway characters, Yeah. And they kind of did that with First Class, if you remember, where we watched the James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender show,
Yeah. Definitely.
And I just, I think we're going to be seeing that again with, Will Smith and Jared Leto, and they're amazing actors, but we have a whole cast here. It's the Suicide Squad, not the Suicide Duo, And I don't know, man. I hope the best for it. Like, I'm not one of these, like, oh, the fanboys, Like, I like both sides. I like Marvel and DC. So I don't ever wish, bad on either entity, But I just really want to see, like, it looks like they're trying to spin this off into a, we're going to get the whole Ben Affleck, Jared Leto dichotomy going, where we're going to have them again. It seems like that's what they want to eventually end up with. So I don't know, man. I'm excited. Like Amy said, I'm excited for it, and I hope the characters are like, really well established. So.
I got you. I'm not going to actually let Josh talk on this one because he will go off on his hot topic outfit rant like he always does. But Josh, I do want to know your opinion on one thing that came out of this Dawn of the Justice League thing. How about that Wonder Woman dough?
Oh, sweet Jesus. I loved Wonder Woman. I've been hyped for Wonder Woman for a very long time. Everybody who listens to the show knows that.
Gal Gadot, yeah.
I've said repeatedly, Gal Gadot is going to be an incredible Wonder Woman, said it the minute she was cast. I had a few doubts, but I had no doubt that she could pull the role off. Everything I've seen of Dawn of Justice, she's my most anticipated. That footage, though, gave me so much hope. After we had all the internal arguments with DC last year where they fired Michelle McLaren of Breaking Bad and brought on Patty Jenkins, who originally was supposed to do Thor the Dark World for Marvel. That movie looks better than I could have hoped for, even though they're still shooting it. It's only about halfway through principal photography. It's her and Chris Pine are confirmed to star in it. So I think right now, for me, that looks like the most promising, including Batman vs. Superman and Suicide Squad. That looks like the most promising DC Cinematic Universe film. And out of any of the ones they've announced, it's by far the one I'm most excited for.
It was very solid footage.
Yes, for it being so early in production.
It's solid.
Reminiscent of when they showed us Avengers footage a full year before the movie came out.
Yeah.
When it was tapped on to the end of First Avenger, and that came on as the post-credit scene, the entire theater lost their minds when I saw it at midnight. This is very reminiscent of that. I was screaming and cheering when I saw it, even though it's just a tease.
Amy, Wonder Woman, you a fan?
I like the comics. I have not watched the clip or anything yet because I'm a little sinner. But I've seen the outfit. It's not It's not the traditional comic outfit, but
Well,
that's kind of interesting.
It's from it's actually from what is it? Justice League War. It's her war outfit.
Learn something new every day. But it looks pretty cool, and I like how DC is now connecting movies.
Yeah.
Like, how Marvel has had this, universe of connecting everything. I love how DC is finally going into that. I think this is going to be a really promising year for DC with all these movies. It looks amazing. I think they're going to do really good.
Good. They did show a little bit of Aquaman stuff. Nothing from the film. There was a short blurb by Jason Momoa, who looked like he knew what he was talking about. It did excite me. I know, Josh, you said that it wasn't enough to really get you involved.
No,
I don't really think.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say I don't really think there's a lot there for us to talk about.
That was to be my line of talk. It hasn't even started production yet. It's still very early in pre.
But there was one thing that came out that I know that we were a little anxious over, which was the Flash conceptual art. Why don't you lead us into that, Joshua?
The controversy of that kind of came out of the fact that the armor itself, or his costume, looks more like armor. It's very reminiscent of Injustice. Which I don't have a huge problem with that, except for the fact he looks like a robot.
It's very bulky. You're right. It's bulky.
It's bulky. It's very different from the more traditional costume that Grant Gustin wears on the Flash movie. The symbol looked kind of weird too. The actual Flash symbol
looked like it was backwards.
Right. It looked like it was backwards. That might have just been the way the image was being shown. Sometimes that kind of happens in image manipulation. I don't know if that's what concerns me. Everybody knows my concerns over the film, and they're going to continue to be big concerns going forward. Although Grant Gustin did come out the night of that special and say that he fully supports Ezra Miller being the Flash in the DCCU. He's willing to talk to him about the role, how he gets in the mindset of being the Flash, being Barry Allen. So I'm kind of warming up to it, but that image alone, the costume is just very strange. It's very, if you've been following the Flash show and reading the comics recently, it just kind of yanks you out of that.
Yeah. Especially because it looks like they're going for an armored look with every one of them.
Cyborg also. Cyborg was a little strange to me.
Yeah. We should probably talk about Cyborg and Ray's here.
Yeah.
Because he knows more about Cyborg than I do. But speaking of DC people, it looks like the Comic Magnet will be relaunching their lines to better reflect their movie and television universe. This will most likely not be a continuity restart and just new number ones and new storylines. Gone will be most of the B-side characters, and no one noticed.
Yeah, this came out the day. I think it was a day or two after that special aired. Yeah. DC basically said we're going to focus just on who's going to be in the Justice League and in the cinematic universe right now. Superman, Batman, Flash, Green Lantern, Cyborg, and Wonder Woman, and the Suicide Squad. That's it. Like those are the titles you will see, and you'll see spinoffs from those books. Again, no one's really going to notice. Those are the characters you really care about, I guess, if you're into DC. I'm making an effort to get more into DC Comics and learn more about that universe, but it's very bizarre. This is something that they just went through a continuity reboot with the New 52 a couple years ago. And
Convergence.
Yeah, Convergence. Just made a mess out of everything from what I heard. So this is really baffling to me. One has to wonder if they're doing this, and I'm not saying they are, but it's a thought that crossed my mind, if they're doing this in response to Marvel's new reboot of all their series, starting with number ones, post-Secret Wars.
Yeah, but at least, Marvel has kind of a, I wouldn't say it's a really clean way of going into it since they extended Secret Wars, but Amy, you're a big DC girl.
Yes.
And you read the comics. Do you think this is going to affect your reading at all?
No. Probably not.
Really, because they're getting away with just doing away with characters you probably don't even really care about, correct?
Yeah, I'm so stereotypical. I'm into the Joker, Harley Quinn, the Batman, all that. And so that is definitely something I want to learn more about, though, and get like what Josh was saying, is get deeper into DC Universe, because I'm really big on if you could quiz me on Batman all day, but then on the other DC stuff, that's just something I need to learn more about.
Right now, I'm going to channel the spirit of Ray and go, you need to read more Superman. All of it.
More Superman, and we really need to make sure that Scott Snyder stays on writing Batman. He's done a phenomenal job since he came on board.
You know, I wonder if this is also a move because it looks like Jeff Johns is going to be way more involved with the movies going forward, and maybe they want to cut down on the lines because he won't be writing as much.
Yeah, that's definitely a thought that crossed my mind as well. You know, when news broke of Jeff Johns and Ben Affleck working on a Batman solo film, which I'm convinced Suicide Squad is leading into, that excited me so much. I said, you know, that in terms of a script has the potential to be the best comic book movie we've seen yet.
Actually,
Jeff Johns and Ben Affleck.
Not to fully interrupt you, but to kind of add on to that, I just read, they just announced it, that Warner Brothers has given the okay now for a live-action Killing Joke movie, rated R.
Nice.
I see. Now that's very interesting to me because they insisted that Suicide Squad be PG-13. So I get that this will be years down the line. You have to start wondering if that is going to be the Batman solo film now.
Well, I mean, you also look at the influence that Deadpool's going to have, right? Like, look at the buzz and the hype behind Deadpool.
And we'll be getting into Deadpool later in the show.
Yeah. But let's move on real quick before we start talking about some more stuff. Nick.
Yes.
You like the Thunderbolts, and not the wrestling team from way back in the day?
Well, they're delightful as well. But yes, I do like the Thunderbolts.
Well, on the other side of the comics pond, Marvel has announced they are bringing the Thunderbolts back. The team will be a mix of old and new T-Bolts, and they will be under new management. His name is Todd, and he formerly ran your local Baskin & Robbins. I'm just kidding. The new leader will be none other than Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier.
But see, this is what you were just talking about with DC, how they're starting to focus on all of their main characters.
Yeah.
And now who do they have? The Thunderbolts. They have the Winter Soldier, who's signed on for like 9 movies or something, you know? Yeah. So you're going to be seeing a lot of them. So they're trying to but that's how you get people to read the lesser-known comics. Start them off big, and then you can funnel them down into the smaller characters like Squirrel Girl and all this, you know? You started off like that, so I think it's a good move. That's awesome.
Well, there's also been some rumors that me and Josh may have started or not started about them bringing the Thunderbolts to the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Oh, God, please.
Because all the pieces really are there, right? Like, we're going to have Baron Zemo in Civil War, and he was the original leader of Thunderbolts.
Yep.
So at some point, we might actually see Bucky now go take over the Thunderbolts, and then we can finally have our Sam Wilson Captain Goddamn America. Sorry, Andy.
There's the one you're allowed, yeah.
There's the one I was allowed.
Definitely, this was awesome. I was actually just saying the day it got announced, I was talking with a guy at my local comic shop. It was like, where is Bucky Barnes at in the new continuity? I mean, I don't need an answer for everyone, but I love the Winter Soldier arc. That's my favorite arc of Captain America, was Winter Soldier and then Death of Cap leading out of Civil War, and especially Bucky's run as Cap. I thought that was really cool to have a more morally ambiguous character take that over, and especially that Tony Stark, asked him to. I've now moved into the group that I don't think he will take over in Civil War or in the cinematic universe. I think they've realized to utilize Sebastian Stan. A little bit more evidence to the whole, we're relaunching the Thunderbolts comic with him in charge. I think that's a predecessor to this, considering him and Daniel Bruhl, that's his name, who signed on to do Baron Zemo in Civil War. They've said his role is not huge, but he's signed on for multiple films. I think Thunderbolts could be a very, very cool Netflix series to do.
Well, I mean, we're also talking about in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Joel and Anthony Russo came out and said, Unite the 67. We're going to have 67 characters in Infinity War Part 1 and 2. So, right now, I mean, me and Josh tried to do the math. When they announced that, there's not even 30 characters right now in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that could go to war. So where are these people going to come from? We don't know.
They're coming from Fox.
They're coming from Fox.
The reality check is going to rip a hole, and Hugh Jackman is going to dive through, and that's how we pass off the mantle.
Look, all I'm saying,
and then we woke up. Yeah.
No. All I'm saying is that if there was some back alley Hollywood deal to get all the Fox Marvel characters into Infinity War, I will go see that movie every day of every week for a month straight.
I would live at the theater.
Remember
eating
this,
popcorn.
people. Remember this.
Just so that I can help Marvel pay for all those rights. That's all
Yep.
I'm saying.
They've said the production budget is like $1
Budget on
billion.
that, right?
Yeah, it's insane. That's insane. That's an insane amount of money.
They have
Yeah.
it.
The kid that won the Powerball probably paid for it, right?
He's paying for it.
I would
His
have.
33% is actually going to pay for the Infinity War
Infinity
budget.
Wars, that's right. That's right. Well, in other Marvel comic-y news, it looks like Steve Rogers will be coming out of retirement and donning the Captain America garb once again. Fear not, Falcon fans, as Sam Wilson will remain Cap as well and even carry the traditional shield. Steve's shield will be a transforming Aegis, so really it will be a story along the lines of A Boy and His Blob.
And there will be jelly beans.
There will be jelly. Yes, thank you. Someone gets that reference.
Yay, I'm old like Kiku.
And you ruined it, yes.
I thought you were talking about the Blob, like the old movie from like the 60s, and I was like, what?
No, a boy didn't walk around with that blob and say, I want you to eat my elementary school, dear Amy Monk.
It's close, though.
It's close. Very, very close. It was an old
First thing
Nintendo
that came to
game.
my head, okay.
I mean, it's good that you know that movie. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's really good. I appreciate that. I think this news is a little, I mean, I don't know if you know this, Amy, but in Secret Wars, Captain America actually lost his ability to stay young, and he wound up becoming an old, cranky, old man version of Captain America, and it was great. Him and Old Man Logan would argue.
They go into diners and never tip and, like, you know, hit on the waitresses. It was
Well, I mean, it was at Denny's on Sunday mornings.
Yeah, right. And they shouldn't have been there.
On their way to underwater yoga, but
right,
we are really hitting the ageism jokes right now. But
I think I just said, yeah, go ahead.
Confirm, the podcast hates old people.
No, that's because Kiku hates himself. But Jesus Christ. Anyway,
that's number two.
It's always me. It's
I'm
always
keeping
me.
notes here.
Yeah.
Amy's keeping notes going. I am going to have to make him atone for his sins. I've got 2 on him. 2 on him right now. But
Amy's actually weeping, friends. So
yeah, she is. She's crying. I made a girl cry. That is me. Anyway.
Way to go!
Yeah.
Will we stop making fun of myself? Thank you.
This is a great segment.
This is a great segment. But I just think it's kind of weird because a lot of people really enjoyed Sam Wilson as Cap, and that he was finally, you know, his own Cap. Like, there wasn't going to be Steve Rogers there. It was just going to be Sam Wilson. You know, as we said in the previous news, Winter Soldier is going to be gone. There's no aftertones of him, and now all of a sudden they're like, oh no, we got to bring back Steve Rogers. It's like, no, you don't. You really don't, though.
Yeah, I'm kind of divided on this. I mean, I like Cranky Cap, but I do think I think they're doing this a little bit too soon. Such a huge deal was made not even 2 years ago, like a year and a half ago was when Sam Wilson became Cap. In 8 months runs out, or 8 months till time runs out. The end of Hickman's Avengers run, essentially. And yeah, that was one of the things Ray and I said we enjoyed so much about Secret Wars was there was no Cap of any kind or Iron Man in the main story, not even Sam Wilson. It was a very refreshing change of pace. And now he's going to take away some of that limelight. It's going to start confusing people. You know, we have 2 Thors right now. We have Jane Foster and we have Odinson somewhere. You know, Bruce Banner is no longer the Hulk, but he's still in the universe, and Amadeus Cho is the Hulk now. It's very weird. I don't like it. We have 2 Spider-Men running. We have like 15 Spider-Men actually running around in the new continuity. It's
so many that we missed Peter Parker in that photo. I want to remind you of that.
Yeah.
Remember that? Yeah.
Yep. We actually did miss Peter Parker in an image of the new characters in Marvel's continuity. It's too much, and I think they're doing it too soon. If they would have waited another year or done it as like the spin out of Civil War II or something, that would have been cool. But now they're just like, oh, well, here you go. Literally the day after the issue comes out with the new Falcon debuting. It was very weird, very bizarre. I don't like it.
Yeah, and even if it doesn't land well at first, at least give it time, you know, because, like, people have to adjust to change, you know. Of course, everybody loves Steve Rogers as Cap, but, like, you know, and they hate that when they introduce a new character, but give it time to settle and let people at least, you know, see what it's going to be like. Let there be a few issues. You're right. They did change it back really quick.
It's a 75th anniversary this year, right? Am I wrong?
Yeah. That's why.
That's really the real reason why, or at least the motivation behind it.
Should at the end of the year though have that as the perfect lead out or something.
Yeah. Definitely.
I do like that they're leaving Falcon, or not Falcon, Sam Wilson. We have to keep calling him Sam Wilson as the real Captain America. Because again, Marvel's doing a lot of their comics to fit the MCU mold. I fully believe that Anthony Mackie will take over for Chris Evans in the near future as Captain America post Infinity War.
I hope so.
Oh, if that's it, Ray and I will go see that every single day.
We all will. We all will. Well, let's move on away from Captain America, get into another favorite of ours. Doctor Strange has finally cast the titular characters. I use that word only for you, Josh.
Shut up.
Faithful assistant, Wong. Benedict Wong, yes, let's get over the fact that they share the same name, has been cast as the Supreme Sorcerer's faithful everyman. Wong last appeared in The Martian with Matt Damon and as Kubla Khan in Netflix's Marco Polo. Can't wait to see the blooper reels of the two Benedicts. Someone's betraying someone in that movie.
Benedict Arnold.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, that's just a joke you made.
It didn't land, guys. I'm sorry. God.
No,
Jesus.
That's 3.
Jesus. I gotta say Jesus. No, because I know that's terrible.
From the Mexican crowd that we have, I'm so
whatever, Zekis, you calm down.
I like this. Benedict Wong. I mean, it's a small role, but he does great in supporting roles. Kiku mentioned The Martian. The Martian was awesome, and he was definitely some of the comedic relief in an otherwise pretty dramatic film. He was great, and the interactions he has with NASA in it, and like his subordinates are holding up papers that say no in big bold letters when they're told to up the timeline. Just great how he played off the whole cast.
Yeah. He was so panicked that whole movie. He played it off so well. It was great.
Mm-hmm. It was pretty impressive. So I'm excited to see his interactions with Cumberbatch as opposed to Jeff Daniels this time.
Yeah, I wonder if he's going to be more comedic. Like, is he going to take on more of a Michael Pena role in this, or is he going to play it straight up more like Jeremy Irons as Alfred to Batman?
Do you think it depends on how they play Doctor Strange? Like, if it's a lot darker,
Yes, I think he's going to be comedic. I really do.
I don't think he will be.
Really?
I don't either.
I think he's going to be more serious because right now I already feel a little bit like Cumberbatch is going to be. It's going to be a serious portrayal, but I think it's going to be kind of goofy at the same time, at least while he's learning how to be, while he's learning from Tilda Swinton, the Ancient One. Nobody else in that movie really can be comedic. Mads Mikkelsen won't be. Chiwetel Ejiofor definitely will not. I guess you could have Benedict Wong being kind of funny, but I don't see it. I think this is going to be a very serious film overall.
He might be a comic relief, but I don't think he's going to be a comedic character in general.
Well, I don't think he's going to be like a goofy John C. Reilly type, right?
Please no.
I think that he's going to be more the, every other character is going to be very heavy, and I think Wong is going to be there to kind of like throw out the sarcastic comment or, lighten the mood when there's just been too much heavy.
Right.
So almost like a Paul Bettany role in the Iron Man movies.
Yes.
Okay, that I can get behind. I thought you meant like when you said Michael Pena, I was like, oh God, please no, I don't want that. Michael Pena, it can only be Michael Pena.
Okay.
It stole the show in Ant-Man. But
yeah. Amy, you like Doctor Strange? Do you read Marvel?
Yeah. I will. But...
I'll get around to it.
I mean, I do a little, but
she's a busy woman. Yeah,
I know. I need to have more variety with Marvel. Like, I do like both. I love Marvel movies and DC comics, so I'm like reading the comics, but then I'll watch the movies and pretend I don't like them when I really enjoy them. So Doctor Strange, I am really looking forward to because I am a huge. I'm not going to say the word, but I really love Benedict Cumberbatch.
Well, I mean, you're a human being. So
yeah, right.
It's only natural. It's
only natural.
We unabashedly love him. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, good. Also, if you have any questions, Amy, about Marvel, obviously you can hit us up because we live, breathe, and die Marvel.
Yeah, I mean, Marvel's okay, I guess. I'm just kidding. I do like some.
if you read Annihilation through the Thanos Imperative, you'd be like,
here we go.
Look,
I really
200
love
issues of just awesome Richard Rider, Josh. Look in the camera right now and tell me you don't unabashedly love Richard Rider.
I do love Richard Rider. I'm campaigning for him to be resurrected. Have been for about 2 years now. But yes, Annihilation is great. Hickman's Avengers run is also quintessential at this point.
Yes. Yes. All right. Good. Good. But Nick, favorite of yours,
Who?
Ryan Reynolds. He hosted a fan event in New York City for Deadpool and wound up showing the entire film to the lucky fans that were there. Or as Kiku...
Little plug. Go. Continue.
Or as Kiku refers to them as a whole bunch of censored words that we aren't going to say on this episode, and even held a Q&A session afterwards. One intrepid fan, probably Jesus, asked about Cable and future movies, and Reynolds responded with an answer that seemed to hint at a possible Cable and Deadpool movie. 6 to Midnight.
Oh, 6 to Midnight indeed.
Yes. For those of you who don't know, there was a series... probably about 10 years ago now, of comics called Cable and Deadpool.
They keep bringing it back.
They do, because it was the ultimate odd couple story of all time. Deadpool and his craziness, Cable and his time travelingness. It was great. It was phenomenal. And, of course, there are photos now circulating the internet of John Hamm as Cable, and it looks phenomenal.
Also Liam Neeson as Cable.
And Liam Neeson, yes.
John Hamm would be. That makes me happier than a bodybuilder directing Traffic. That is fantastic. You like that? There's more where that comes from. No, this is so exciting.
I just imagine that when Nick's coming up with this stuff, he's imagining those old Pepsi commercials with Bo Jackson. The one where he points and he flexes his arm, and Nick's like, "Yeah, that's a good idea. I should say that."
I write it down in my Samsung Galaxy S2.
We're living in 2007.
Bringing it back. I love Deadpool. He's my favorite Marvel character. Has been for forever, and I love him so much. And the promotions that they've been doing for this movie, every time I see it,
Stop.
Yes!
Stop.
But wait, there's more.
I hate you so much.
For those that can't see right now,
even more.
I just peed all over this mink couch. For those that don't know,
Deadpool watches me while I record Neek. My Funko Pops.
For those that are wondering right now, we are actually having a lot of Funko.
Oh, God, stop it.
Oh, wow.
Stop it.
No.
That was worse than my Punisher
so
joke
funny.
last week.
What did I say last week?
We're not going to repeat it.
A blind man could even see that they wouldn't punish fans.
Anyways.
It's terrible.
Jeez, but yeah, good times. This is good news. This is good news. I'm very excited for it, and I know for sure that they've probably got a couple spin-offs in the works, including probably Cable and Deadpool, and that'd be fantastic. And then that begs the whole X-Force question. So
that's what I was getting to. I fully think that this does not hint at Cable and Deadpool necessarily. I think it hints at X-Force first, and then Cable and Deadpool. The pieces are there for X-Force at this point.
But here's my concern about them spinning off from Deadpool is that if you do X-Force, it's going to be PG-13. I mean,
the producers of Deadpool said they are campaigning for an R-rated X-Force right now.
Well, I mean, look, man.
Fox is in talks with them to make it happen.
Yeah, but Fox, though, at this point, right?
But Fox doesn't care.
I'll put it to you like this. If they do the rated R last Wolverine movie, okay, and Deadpool obviously does well, and so does Wolverine, I will believe that way more because they want to interconnect their universe, right?
Yeah.
Like, you want to see X-Force and X-Men on screen at some point, but you have loopy X-Men rated PG-13, and then you're going to have hardcore, everybody loves Deadpool and X-Force. If you mash that together, you're going to have to go PG-13,
Kind of. I mean, I kind of liken it more to the comics. X-Force had a very, very mature run at one stage. A very good run, by the way. And a lot of those characters are, Deadpool, they're talking about Cable. Psylocke is being introduced in X-Men Apocalypse. And it's not out of the question for them to bring in a couple of those, darker team members, I guess you could say, or some of the old Brotherhood. What excites me most right now, more than them possibly talking about X-Force, are two of the reactions from this screening. Two of the people who were in attendance. Kevin Smith himself and Robert Kirkman, writer of The Walking Dead, were both One of them was at no, they both went to L.A. Excuse me, they were both in L.A. And Kevin Smith came out saying not only did he love it, he says that he thinks this opens up so many doors for superhero movies in the future because he thinks Deadpool's going to do that good. But even besides that, he's like, just the initial reaction of the people who were not like diehard Deadpool fans who were there, he was like, it was just an amazing reaction. He thinks it's going to revolutionize the genre now in terms of the films, just as people thought it was getting stale. Robert Kirkman said very largely the same thing, that it is a monumental achievement for comic book movies that this even got made and that it turned out as good as it did. And I'm inclined to take his word more seriously than Kevin Smith's. I love Kevin Smith, but his opinions have been wrong a lot. He gets overhyped for certain things, but Robert Kirkman saying that says a lot to me personally.
And now that we're actually on Deadpool, there's been that petition going around to make it PG-13. It was banned in China, right, for its gratuitous violence and sex and whatnot.
That violent.
So, Amy, I know you're kind of on the fence about those things, right?
Well, I do not think it should be rated PG-13 because of the content that's in it. I mean, unless it is, they do a remake to where they kind of take those parts out, where they make it to where it is possible to be PG-13.
Well, but Ryan Reynolds even said it would be like a 10-minute movie if they did that.
Yeah, I mean, with the language, the graphic nudity, all that kind of thing, I mean, it really... And the people who started the petition wants an 8-year-old boy to go see it.
Yeah. That's his favorite character.
The thing is, tell any of these people, read any Deadpool comic. Show me PG-13 material in any comic.
Yeah.
That's like if they...
The recent Deadpool runs
recent ones, right,
have been very toned down. Yeah. He hasn't been rated M since mid-2000s.
Yeah.
Well, really, any character can be kind of changed in a way. Like if you look at Batman the animated series, I'm kind of going off, but they took Joker to where it was possible for him to just be kind of like a thief, so that it was possible for kids to watch it. Yeah. But then if you look at the Joker in Dark Knight, it's like super intense. So any character can kind of be twisted around to where it's appropriate for anyone. But with the Deadpool movie, no. That that's not going to happen.
So are you looking forward to seeing this movie, knowing what the content is?
That's such a iffy subject because...
She's torn. It's a moral dilemma.
I know. It is. It's like, I really love Deadpool, and I know I shouldn't. I'm such a sinner, but I really love it. And I am gonna go see it, but you don't know that. So I am gonna go see it.
Shh! Don't tell anybody.
No one knows.
Well, I
am gonna go see it, but I will probably if it really gets to the point where it's like, okay, I can't watch this, I'll probably go. That app where it says there's an app that says when you can go to the bathroom during a movie.
Run pee.
Run pee. Yeah, I'll probably during those scenes I'll go get more popcorn or something.
Gotcha. All right. Well, no, that's smart. That's smart. Or even better, whoever's with you, when it starts, you go cover eyes, and they just put their hand over your eyes.
Yeah.
And then, when the credits roll, they remove it.
I'm kind of the same opinion in a lot of ways, though. That was one of my biggest problems with the Hateful Eight. I love Quentin Tarantino, but Hateful Eight and Pulp Fiction have always they bother me in certain ways. I'll take any amount of blood, gore, and violence. Love war movies, and I'll take any amount of language to an extent. But graphic nudity is kind of where I draw the line, and it's I'm kind of facing that ambiguous dilemma. It's Deadpool. I love Deadpool. I have campaigned for this since X-Men Origins, which we do not speak of on this show. And I'm finally getting him done properly. I understand it's part of the character, and Chelsea and I've talked about it a lot. She doesn't know anything about the Deadpool character other than he's associated with the X-Men, and he was in a terrible movie before and was butchered. That's basically all she knows. And so it's I know I'll go see it, but I don't know if she will. And it's just, I do like that they did it. They're not joking around. They said it was going to be hard R. It is a hard R movie. Just from what we've seen in the previews, we know it's going to be.
Very much like a Kick-Ass type style.
Right.
Well, it's going to be even harder than that, supposedly.
The only mistake I will say they've made in the marketing is releasing green band trailers that can be shown in front of a PG-13 movie, because that gives kids and families false hope, and then petitions like this get started.
And that's where it all started from. Like, well, the trailer was good for my kids. Why can't the movie be? So,
right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, and these are the same people who are not going to go IMDb something before they go. They're not going to look at the content. They're just going to buy, oh, it says from Marvel Studios and the X-Men. We can go see it.
When Kick-Ass came out, I remember like a ton of parents that were like, oh, I brought my 5-year-old. I was a comic book movie. I had no idea. I'm like,
the name of it.
But the name, woman, the name.
Yeah, right. Well, and so many people don't even read the comics or even know. A lot of people don't even know who Deadpool is, but they're like, and that's why Marvel is so smart with doing these movies. They're pumping out movies like crazy because they get people attracted to it who haven't even read the comics or even know who these characters are.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yep.
I was gonna say that earlier, but it slipped from my mind. But anyway, yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy. I didn't even know what that was until like. But, I'm not a huge Marvel fan. But because the movies, they're, like, coming out, and they're, like, every single one is just amazing. And then you get sucked into the comics, and then you start developing characters.
You don't have to feel bad, because even Marvel fans who read the comics didn't really know who the Guardians of the Galaxy were, except for those of us who read Annihilation, Josh.
No, I knew who they were. I read the original run of Guardians when they were resurrected in 2008.
Yeah.
I was actually really sad.
What was it a part of, Josh? What was it a part of? Yeah, Annihilation, exactly. Yeah.
I was really sad there was no
Damn right.
sign here.
No, but even myself, being the eldest right now of the Neek hosts, even I find gratuitous nudity. Like if it's
unnecessary.
Yeah, like if it's unnecessary.
It's never needed. It's really never needed. Yeah.
For instance, there was a Japanese anime that I used to watch with an ex called Freezing. Great story, awesome fighting. They fought, though, and it was women that were fighting, so their clothes would get blown off. No bruising, no blood, no broken bones, but when they got hit powerfully, their clothes would fly off. And it took me out of the whole thing. Like, I was just like, this is why? Like, why? I mean, if they broke a rib, I would find that, more satisfying, not because I like pain, but because it's more, that's understandable.
Realistic.
Yeah, exactly. But you punch her in the stomach and then her boobs are out all of a sudden? Like,
yeah.
I mean, if I saw that in real life, I'd be like, oh, okay, well, I'm not going to mess with that person. Because
you say that, Kiku, but there was a time where we were practicing boxing.
Stop it now.
And I saw your SpongeBob.
Next.
SpongeBob.
Nope. Where's Anthony's? There it is. So anyway, as Anthony goes on mute, but to get to the point, I am as big of a fan of Deadpool as Nick is, which is one of the reasons that we love each other so much. Is that we fell in love with both Step Brothers and then also with Deadpool. And in all honesty, nudity was never really a big part of Deadpool. Violence, foul language, totally. Now, they're trying to. I think the nudity is being added in really to be more of a, we're going to do it as hard R as we possibly can to prove everybody over the last 15 years that told us not to do this movie wrong, right?
Yeah, there's a whole sequence inside of a strip club.
Yeah, but that would be something that Deadpool would do. There is a scene in one of the books like that, but the strippers did have their clothing on, and they're probably taking it to the next step. But again, if it's a short, little scene, maybe forgivable, but that doesn't need to be there. If they would have been like, well, no, we're doing PG-13 because we don't want to do the gore and the foul language, then it would have ruined the movie. And if they were like, no nudity, but we're going to do the other stuff, I'd have been like, yeah, man, cool, let's do it.
I agree with that. I mean, I think that they could have, like you guys were saying earlier, it's just not necessary. I mean, you can still have a great story, a great movie, without having that graphic nudity in very detailed sex scenes. I mean, it doesn't have to be like that.
Most comic book movies of the last 10 years.
Yeah. I will put this: if it is Ryan Reynolds completely frontal nudity, but he's wearing the Deadpool mask, that is something Deadpool would do, and I would accept it. Nick would agree. Take yourself off mute, Anthony.
No, I was going to say, I think from what I heard, Rob Liefeld, the creator, he said it was one of the best interpretations he's ever seen of the character, and he said a lot of it is comically Ryan Reynolds doing a fight scene. I don't think this is a spoiler, but it's a lot of him, for a good 2 minutes, doing a fight scene while, scantily clad. So I think it's meant for comedic effect, not so much for a sexual nature.
And again, it's also the context of it as well. If it's just a bunch of women running around topless just to have women topless, then
Yeah.
No. But if it's like I said, like if it's a Ryan Reynolds in a Speedo trying to fight bad guys and something flops out,
Then
for
it's hilarious.
effect, and then it's hilarious, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to see that. Like, I'm not going to, make my own petition going, let's see Deadpool's chimichanga, but, whatever. Anyway, let's move on to the last news bit. Akifumi Kaneko, the creator of one of Kiku's and Rei's favorite RPGs of all time, Wild Arms, teased that there might be a re-release of at least the original game, as this marks its 20th anniversary. I put this news in because not only am I excited, but Rei isn't here to talk about it.
Malicious.
Anybody play Wild Arms?
Nope.
Is it a JRPG?
Yes, it is, from the original PlayStation.
What can you tell us about? I'm not familiar with it. I saw you guys post about it. What's it about?
Wild Arms was a Japanese RPG that had a very Western vibe to it. The theme music was actually probably one of the best opening theme songs that you'll ever hear. Western inspired, so there was like an acoustic guitar playing. Very cool. It was a very cool game. It actually, the characters all had guns, and one of them the main character kind of looked like he was Billy the Kid and stuff like that. It was a lot of fun. The story was really great. And now I do kind of wish Ray was here to talk about it with me so we could geek out. But, Josh, love of my life, what time is it?
Topic of the week.
Topic of the week. Topic of the week this week is our guest, Amy Monk. Amy.
Hi. Hi. How are you?
Hi. No, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fine.
We're gonna throw some questions at you. We're gonna palaver with you, as they say. Amy, why don't you just give us some basic information about yourself? Age, where you're from, hopes, dreams, aspirations.
Oh, okay. Okay, I am 16. I live in Pensacola, Florida, and I've lived here pretty much like my whole life. And I think my biggest dream and like my goal right now is to get to the point where I can go to the best art school, which is Savannah School of Art, and really just expand my ability. And people who go there, really get to move into the film industry and, even costume designing, that kind of thing, move into movies. And that's like the biggest dream I could have. But right now, I'm just traveling at Comic Cons and selling my work, meeting people, getting connections, and figuring out, okay, so the do's and don'ts, of when you're selling artwork. So I'm really, it's a lot of trial and error, but it's really fun, and I'm having a great time getting out there.
So your art, you've been doing portraits, correct, of famous people?
Yeah.
For one of the first people, I think it might have actually been the first one, if I remember correctly from following you, was Norman Reedus, correct?
Yes, that was. I'm pretty sure that was the first one. Yeah.
Okay. Tell us that story.
Okay, so I was gonna go to Comic-Con in New Orleans, and it was like the first time I was going to Comic-Con, and I had to have a drawing for Norman Reedus because he was going to be there. So I just did a sketch of him, and this was like 4 years ago. And I was going to give it to him, but then I did a different one. I gave him that. So, and then I found this particular sketch that I did of him 2 years ago, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. I'm going to do something. And then I uploaded it into my computer and started playing around with it. And after a while, it just kept going, and it got to the point where I just kept building it. And at some points I would say, oh, it's finished, and then I would come back and I would keep going. And so then when I finished it, I don't know if you guys are familiar with The Walking Dead, but there's Beth, and she's an angel, and she has her wings wrapped around him. And I'm not gonna say anything, but and his face completely changed, and it just kept going, and it was so fun to keep playing with it, and finally I had a finished product. And every time people walk by it, it's so cool to see their facial expressions. They're like, no, why would you do that?
But he actually, I know you posted it all over social media. He actually noticed it, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
So
he
what did he?
noticed it. I brought it. Okay, this is super cool. I went to Comic-Con 2 weeks ago. This is finally when he saw it. 2 weeks ago, I went to Comic-Con New Orleans again. And this is the time I was selling my artwork. And I had to go see him again. This is the second time I met him. And I ran up there in a full-out Harley Quinn outfit. I mean, no one would recognize me. It's so sad. But he got my name and my booth number, and he said he was going to come by, but he didn't. But that's okay. And I went and I gave it to him, and he flipped out when I handed it to him. I had 2 copies. I had one for him to sign for me. I paid $80 freaking for him to sign it, and then I gave him a copy, and he hung it up on his booth and took pictures of it and sent it to Beth.
That's cool.
So he took some pictures of it, and he was like freaking out. And there's a video of me on Facebook somewhere of when I met him in my Harley outfit and giving it to him. And he was just like, he's very awesome with fans. He's very social and very sweet.
I bet that was like super flattering for him to do that and like be so excited about your work, right?
Yeah. And he does that a lot. He'll hang people's artwork up. I think at this particular con it was mine and like one other drawing, and so it felt really good because he put it right up next to his name, and it was very prominent. It was amazing. Oh my gosh. Anyway.
So I mean, you know, for one, you're very young, you know, and we're not saying that in a very condescending way. It's actually quite amazing that you are, you know, getting booths at Comic-Cons to sell your work. Does an experience like that for you make you want to come back and work even harder at what you're doing?
I didn't hear that last part.
What do you call it? Does the experience, you know, between you and Norman Reedus make you want to work even harder at what you're doing?
Yes, I mean, like, experiences like that really are motivations, like, and sometimes, you know, like I was saying, there's hit and misses. Sometimes you go to a con thinking, oh, I'm going to spend all this money, and I'm going to, you know, it's all going to pay back, and I'll do amazing and stuff, but, you know, I'm just starting out, and so that will happen, you know, where you don't always meet your goal, but then you really meet people, and then they will inspire you, and the way when people walk by my booth and see that picture of Norman Reedus and then start crying and then are compelled to come by and just talk to me and just talk about nerdy stuff, about Walking Dead, about you know, Harley Quinn, all that kind of thing, it really makes it worth it, and I do not want to stop. I want to keep going, even though, you know, I'll have hit and misses, but I'm definitely going to keep doing it. And it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So are you at the point now with selling your art to where you're paying for your own booths, or are, you know, your parents still helping you out?
Well, I do. We have money that we set aside in savings for Comic Cons.
Okay.
You know, I'm homeschooling, so I'm doing the financial stuff. So when we go on these trips, I'm figuring out what we're going to spend it on, the tax, all that. That's part of my learning experience, is finding out, okay, you got to put this much aside for the booth, you got to do this for orders, you got to do this and this and this. And so I'm doing all the math and the financial stuff, which is really cool, and it's an interesting responsibility and very stressful. So, but it's an amazing learning experience. And so we do put money aside, and we put savings in for these cons, and we don't, you know, it's not like we're going into debt, because it's, you know, we're saving for it, and it's something that we want to do, and so it's pretty amazing that I have this opportunity to go and do these things.
Yeah, it quite is, and you're going to be at Pensacon this year too, correct?
I won't have a booth, and that really stinks, because they sold out. But I will next year. I'm going to have a booth there. I'm going to be at Mobicon, which is in Mobile, and I will have a booth there. But I am going to Pensacon. I'm going to be cosplaying. Shocker. I'll be Harley Quinn.
Nice.
And I'm building this costume even more. I made the jumpsuit. I hand sewed it. Like, I used a machine, but I mean, I did the pattern and everything. So I made the whole costume.
So, as you know, I am the resident Neek cosplayer,
Mhm.
right? So my question is, are we ever going to see you in anything but Harley Quinn?
Yes. I did do a Merida costume. Obviously, my hair, it makes kind of sense. I have amazing,
Yeah.
luscious red
Most people have to get the
curly
wig. I was
hair.
going to say, but it just comes to you. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
As
So
Nick
I
brushes his hair, going, "I wish I had a wig that was luscious."
I want
and,
red curly hair. I'm going to cosplay as Merida. Go ahead. Yeah.
I will build that costume for you if you'll wear it.
Nice.
I've got one
Nice.
I'm already making for Josh. It's
Is
Ariel.
Josh is he going as Ariel again? I was going to say, like,
Yeah, he's going as Ariel again. Yeah,
with
Yeah.
the shell bra.
oh, that tail looks phenomenal on him.
it does.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to be Merida.
Yeah, I do Merida, and I even I have 4 steampunk costumes that I have created that are my
That's
own
awesome.
characters. And
Nice.
so it's all based off of one corset, but then I have a bustle skirt. Oh, I'll give you guys a sneak peek on a cosplay I'm working on right now. I have on another steampunk. I'm gonna have wings. Kiko, I told you about this before. I have these wings that are gonna be like metallic bronze wings. They're kind of be like falcon wings that are gonna be attached to a leather backpack on my steampunk costume.
Nice.
So I'm looking forward to finishing that.
So, because you're into that, and I know that some of the people that listen to us do know what it is, but a lot don't. What is steampunk? The look. Why don't you tell everybody what the look is?
Okay, steampunk is basically back in like the 1800s with the steam era where everything was powered by steam, but it has a sci-fi take on it. So basically, like old Western, it can be like the Western kind of style, but with like a futuristic take on it. So like lasers and that kind of thing. So steampunk is basically just a lot of corsets, a lot of brown leather stuff, and guns.
Yeah.
And guns. Oh,
And guns.
that sounds like my Friday nights, actually. I go on down to the saloon
Lots
with
of
my
corsets
brown leather
and
and
guns,
guns.
yeah.
And corsets. Josh will experience that when he's here, but he'll be a steampunk Ariel. That's what it'll be. Except for him, it'll be a lot of corsets, a lot of brown leather, and a lot of tails.
You gotta have the glasses. You could be like hipster Ariel as well.
Well, he's got glasses.
So done
I mean,
with
look
all
at his
of you.
face.
So there you go.
He's so done with all of us.
That was Josh's IM name, is Hipster Ariel 1984. So
Josh will be showing up in his Kylo Ren helmet, not talking to any of you,
Oh, that'll be amazing. We'll love that. We'll love that so much.
with a camera.
With the camera, yeah. Actually, we gotta make a shell for the camera to be like one of those what do you call it? Interrogation drones from Star Wars.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And just roll it down the street, freak people out. Amy, what are you working on currently? What's your next big project for your artwork?
Okay. For artwork, okay, I'll give you guys a huge sneak peek. I do pinups. I'll do comic book characters, and I'll turn them into classic 50s pinups. I have
Nice.
Harley Quinn. I have Poison Ivy. Actually, my Poison Ivy is Jessica Rabbit, and it's a realistic Jessica Rabbit as Poison Ivy.
That fits really well, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and this next one is going to be Deadpool as a 50s bathing suit pinup. So I'm going to have a Deadpool pinup.
When that's done, you need to send me not like a physical copy. Digital copy's fine, because we need to share that with as many people as possible. And trust me, we will tag the living heck fire out of you. Actually, I think Nick will go get a tattoo of it on his chest. And,
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
and then what we'll do is we'll bring you with us, and you can sign it with the tattoo gun.
I would love that. That'd be awesome.
I was almost going to say no, but I'm down for this, so let's do this. Yeah.
Hope I don't sneeze. though.
Jackie's gonna kill me for suggesting this. I just want to let you know.
First he got 3 boyfriends, now he's getting a pinup tattoo on his chest.
Yes. Batting
Of
1,000 on
Deadpool.
the show.
Yeah.
Of Deadpool. But that sounds super cool. That sounds awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that, and then I have one that is probably gonna be finished before the Deadpool one. Is a Jurassic Park Velociraptor, and that one will probably be out like really soon. But I cannot wait to get that one finished. But the Deadpool one is like has been an idea since before I did my Harley pinup, and so I really want to get that one done. That's going to be fascinating to see.
Fascinating's one word. It definitely is one word. Yeah. And of course, we just talked about your cosplays. Is there anything else you're working on outside of that? I know you like to swing dance.
Yeah. Actually, I got to mix the two, cosplay and swing dance one time, because they did a costume contest for Halloween, and I was like, this is my opportunity. And I almost went in my corset and with the guns and all that, and with my belts. I have 4
I think
belts.
from now on, instead of explaining it, just go, I was wearing Kiku's Friday Night, and people will be like, oh, okay, I get what that is.
I was going to wear that to swing, but then I realized, when you do aerials, which are when you get like flipped upside down, you're basically like your legs are around a guy's like shoulder, and then
like
you're like
what people think
down.
of when they do swing dancing, like the crazy flips.
Yeah, and so I don't think it'd be a very good idea to have like metal belts and stuff when you're doing that. So what I decided to do was do a pop art costume. So I had like stockings that were like dots, and then I had a full polka dot dress, and then I did the makeup. And if you guys can even go to my Instagram, which is just Amy_Monk, you can see my pop art makeup that I did, and that one was so much fun. So I got to kind of do cosplay and swing dance. So
that sounds like actually a lot of fun.
Yeah, so it was like 2 of my favorite passions, and then
you might actually be onto something there, Amy. It's cosplay swing dancing.
Oh, actually, you know what? I have a art piece that is not published yet, that is ready to be published. I just saw it the other day, of the Joker and Harley Quinn swing dancing. It's called Gotham City Swing, and is the artwork. And I'm going to publish that one on my Etsy, and so that one will be finished, and it has a lot of inspiration on it, and it's one of my favorites. So looking forward to that one being published.
Yeah, I was about to say, it sounds like you got a lot of really cool concepts coming out for the nerd world. Well, Amy, do you have anything else that you want to add? Anything that we haven't asked you that we haven't seemed interested in? Do you want to draw Josh as Ariel as a pinup? I'll pay for that. That
would be awesome. Actually, no, that'd be kind of fun. Okay, here's one thing. I do commissions to where I do. I can turn families into Disney characters. I did that for my brother's family, and even the finished product is published on the back of his book, Chasing the Mouse. And I am illustrating some children's books that are coming up. And so with this particular thing, you can message me and send me a bunch of photos of your family and what characters you want them to be, and I will I can do a light sketch, I can do a color sketch, and then a digital print of your family as Disney characters.
That's wow. Now I think all the stuff that I do isn't very cool at all. I'm like, man, I missed out at being a cool 16-year-old who does all this wonderful stuff. My life is a failure. Thanks, Amy.
You're welcome.
I quit this show.
You've caused the entire cast to reevaluate their lives. Thank you.
We're all like, yeah, we've got 9.
Better, thanks.
Yeah, I think I'm safe.
Yeah. Oh, shut up, you young buck.
You young buck. Dating ourselves again.
That definitely sounded like something.
Dude, I had to censor myself. Well, Amy, man, it sounds like you have a lot of really good stuff coming out. I'm going to spin us out a topic of the week, which was the interview with Amy Monk. Amy, thank you very much for being here.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Well, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Maybe we'll have you back after Pensacon sometime. To see what your progress is on some of that stuff. Why don't you tell the folks at home or in their car? Hopefully, they're not going to write this down while they're driving. But if you do, don't get into an accident. But tell everybody, Amy, where they can find you, where they can find your work, how they can get in touch with you if they think having their family as the Incredibles sounds like a really good idea.
Well, the best way to get in touch with me is to go to my website, amymonk.com, which is AIMEE monk.com.
Because remember, one Y does not mean you have an artistic soul.
Yes, that is a true statement. If you go there, it will have different places to where you can contact me, and you can email me, and I will email you back as soon as possible. And if you go to amymonk.com, it will send you to my Etsy and my Facebook page, and make sure you give my Facebook page a like. And when you get to my website, see, I'm really getting into this. The first thing you will see is my email list, and then you can put your email in there and your name, and then you will get emails when I have a new art piece out. So if you're really looking forward to that Deadpool, I will send out an email when it's finished and when it is published on my Etsy, and you can purchase it. And for the things that are already on my Etsy, some of the products, if you order them, there's a limited edition, some of them, where you can actually order them on Etsy, and I will sign them.
That's cool.
Only a few left where I could actually sign them if you order them.
Nice.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. Everything's around amymonk.com. So if you just go there, it will send you to all the other places that you need to find me.
All right, amymonk.com. That's with 2 E's, because 2 E's means you have an artistic soul. 1 Y does not. And if there is an Amy who's listening to the show, that's a joke. Please don't feel bad, honey. I appreciate you listening. So does Josh and Nick, and of course our missing host Ray. Guys, it's the end of the week, so you know what time it is. Shout-outs. Do we have any shout-outs this week?
Yes.
Hit me, luscious Lady Locks, lovely Argonian lady.
Shout out to my good friend Stephanie, actually, who is a part of the group. Stephanie Ravage Andrews, as she goes by. Another artistic soul.
Oh, she did all that really cool beadwork, right?
She does a lot of beadwork, the pixel work, and she prides herself in it a lot. She spends a lot of time throughout the day. She uses what's known as perler beads. I actually take a little bit of credit for this because I made her an old school Link one where he's holding the Triforce, and I gave it to her, and she went like far and above anything I could have ever done. She said, I really like this. I actually want to start making them, and she's got them, and they're amazing, and she takes so much time on them. And if you want to buy them, just come to the site, join the site anyways, of course, but this is what she does. You know, after she's done with work, she loves to make these, and she's got a skull kid that's probably, 1.5 feet high. She's
Amazing.
doing an actual, right now she's going to be working on an actual replica of the Link to the Past map, and she's thinking it's probably going to take her about a year. But something like that would probably sell for 150, 200. But she, anything you find online that's 8 or 16-bit, she can make for you. But yeah, she's definitely a great friend, and she'd love to talk to you, and if you want to do any of that. So another artistic soul like Amy here. So yeah.
And you
Sounds
can
like
link
I'm
up.
going to have a new best friend.
Yeah, you can link up with her on the Neek Facebook page. Remember Neek apostrophe, because we go Neek the podcast. It's our Facebook page. Josh, I know you're not gonna have any football shout outs this week because the football gods did you wrong.
The football gods did me so dirty today. Really, last week is when it happened, but I had to reap the repercussions today.
You actually rooted for the Patriots. I never thought I would see that day.
I did. I sold my soul today to Bill Belichick. We made a back alley deal, and that's why they lost.
And then you had to go all Green Arrow on him and tell him he failed the city.
He did. He failed the nation. I was a big fan of the Tom Brady Revenge Tour this year, despite them beating my beloved Seattle Seahawks last year. And I still have to listen to that on every single telecast of any NFL game that gets brought up. So that crushes my soul a little bit more each time. I have no shout-outs this week for once. Actually, yes, I do. Never mind. I lied. Greg Berlanti of DCTV is my shout-out. I love Legends of Tomorrow. I know that a lot of people are really lukewarm on it, and it's only one episode in. I freaking loved it. I've rewatched that pilot 3 times now.
Oh, wow.
I love it that much. It's also free on iTunes right now, so you should get it. That is my shout-out.
Kiku still needs to watch that. Actually, probably right after this, I'm going to go finish off Arrow and then jump
There's
into
a
that.
lot of plot holes. There's some plot holes in it. There's some bad performances.
But it's fun.
But it's a
Amy,
fun
Amy, have you
ride.
watched Legends of Tomorrow yet? DC's Legends of Tomorrow?
No. I'm worried everything's going to get ruined for me, but I need to watch it really bad.
Yeah. No, we had a little discussion about it last night. Like he said, there's a few plot holes, but it's worth it. It's a fun show to watch.
It's so much fun.
Good. I've actually got 2 shout-outs this week. Number 1, I want to shout out to Saria Cosplay, my friend Heather. She ordered a custom Harley Quinn bat. I got to drop it off today to her and hang out. She's actually going to help us do some neat promo stuff. When we get the T-shirts in, we have a little idea of Harley Quinn and her taking me hostage for one of the promo shoots. So it should be pretty cool. I'm going to be tied to a hand truck and gagged, Josh. That would be the time to kick the crap out of me.
Another Saturday night for Kiku.
Well, that's Sunday night. We call that the Sabbath. She's actually going to be dressed. She's going to be dressed in her Harley Quinn.
That's number 3.
That's number 4. That's number 4. Wow.
That's number 4. I slipped into Jesus underneath my breath, and Josh got it.
Amy's keeping tally marks on her coffee table right now.
No, but she's going to be in her Harley Quinn cosplay, she said today for me, for helping her out with the custom-made bat. And actually, my next shout-out is to our guest, Amy. Thank you very much for coming on the show. It was a lot of fun. You were very interesting, and I actually hope that some people check out your work from being on the show. I hope you had a good time.
Yes, I had an amazing time because I got to nerd out.
Awesome.
Other people.
Good. Sorry that Ray couldn't be here. Ray would have loved to have talked to you, but he had, unfortunately, engagements he could not break. But for the people at home, Ray will be back next week. We should have actually a war of podcasting going on as Phoenix Overdrive Nation's Nerd Overdrive. Ray, Becca, and Lee, good friends of ours, are going to come on the show. We're going to talk some crap to each other and talk about using podcasting for, generous for charity and whatnot, since they do a lot of charity work. They're a great bunch of people. Guys, you should really check them out. If they talk way more video games. Yeah, way more video games than us. And especially Ray, their co-host, is the founder of Rise Above Gaming. He's a very positive guy. Even when the chips with him are down, he still remains optimistic and upbeat. And they're wonderful people. So we hope they will be able to come on the show next week. But with that, I'm Kiku. That was Rachel Finney and luscious lady locks of lovely Lady Argonians, Nick Lealy. And we're going to say goodnight, or good morning, good night, whatever you guys are doing right now. Enjoy your laundry day, or if that's what you're doing, or enjoy work. And as always, keep it nerdy.
Sayonara.